happen. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. The kids all wish away the month 'cause they want presents in sight. This year had me so mad.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you and yours. I hope you're getting a chance to enjoy some good time with your friends, family, and your loved ones. So this video, I'm keeping in with the Christmas theme. I am revisiting an old look, which is something I'm going to do a little bit more often. I know that there are some videos out there and some photos of some old looks without tutorials, so I'm going to revisit those a little bit, bring you something new so you can see how to do those looks. But you see here in this photo that I did dry blood using cotton and liquid latex. So I'm going to use different products. I'm going to use silicone for the skin, and I'm going to make it a lot more bloodier. So just hang on, get settled, grab your cozy blankets, and let's just get into the footage. Today I'm going to be using the Cannom curated palette by Greg Cannom, Special Effects Artist. This is the warm beige palette that he curated with Premier Products Inc. Greg Cannom is a special effects artist who's worked on movies like Benjamin Buttons starring Brad Pitt and Dracula starring Gary Oldman. This look requires a lot of glam makeup, so for the eyeshadow today I'm going in with a palette that has some warm tones in it. I'm using brown for the transition shade, and in case you're wondering how I clean my brushes in between shadows, I picked up this little thing at the Dollar Tree, and it's really good for brushing off excess eyeshadow from your brushes. But here I'm going through and I'm placing that brown color into the transition shade and down into the crease. For the cut crease, I'm using a rounded flat tip brush. You've seen me use this one before. Taking a little bit of product of my concealer onto my hand, and I go through and I lay my brush down into the brown, but don't cover up the brown, just enough to go above the natural hooded eye area, and at one swipe I bring that down. Making sure I do not blink or close my eyes fully until I get this formula and this shape that I like dry. I just go through, and with the same brush I make sure that I sweep that concealer out because I'm doing a double winged eye look today. And I just want to be sure that when doing cut creases that I try to make them look like sisters and not twins, because our bodies are not symmetrical. That's why a shoe might fit tighter than the other. That's why your left rings might not necessarily fit your right hand. And so for those reasons, try to make them look like sisters and not twins. Save yourself some grief, because it will happen. Make sure that they look similar but not the same. So try not to go to perfection, just similar. It does take a little bit of time to get the shape that you want. It does take time to get things to look similar. And it's okay if you've already used powder. You can go back over with concealer and you can get it looking like the other eye or whatever you need to fix. I am using a liquid eyeliner I got from Advent Calendar from Makeup Revolution. With a little bit of product on the back of my hand, I use a brush and I get that onto the cut crease that I had created. But I did find out very soon that I had another eyeshadow that would have a little bit more pop to it and a lot more shimmer. So since I already put this down on one cut crease, I go ahead and finish on the other to keep things cohesive. So I decided to use my Colourpop Blow and Smoke palette and picking the silver up in the middle of the pan, and in order to make sure I test this on the back of my hand against the other product that I already have on my eyelids, just to make sure that nothing weird happens. I go back through and place this color all over the cut crease. so much satisfaction when you get exactly what you were going for. Now don't get me wrong, the liquid eyeshadow that I was using is a good eyeshadow. It stayed in place, but I like to make it glow. You know me. I like to make it shine. I like a strobe light effect. It just didn't work for the look I was going for today. Now placing a liquid eyeliner into that cut crease, because this is where I'm going to make the design of Christmas lights into this eyeshadow look. This is from Wet n Wild Beauty. It's got a felt tip liner and it dries down matte and it stays in place. And I'd be sure that I have that dry before I continue on with my water liners from Gavissi Beauty. The thing that I like about water activated liners is you have control over the saturation and the bleed of the color. So if you need a light wash of color, it's easy to obtain. And here I go through, and in order to put down the bulbs, I go and I create small lines on the top and up under the bottom of this cut crease line. The reference image I'm using today comes from makeup_ideas 818, and she had this wonderful glowy bulb look to this cut crease. And I just continue to run those small little black lines above and below in order to make these look like Christmas lights that are glowing. I'm going to be placing just a light white dot into these small lines that I've created. To give color to these bulbs, I'm going through with red, yellow, green, and blue, and with a light wash of color, I color around the bulb, being sure not to cover it completely the white. That's what's going to make it look like it's glowing. So just be mindful if you're using water liners that it's a light wash of color. Just be sure to use the same brush when you're placing that color around the white bulbs of this look. I have one brush that I'm using to make sure everything stays consistent, and I have a couple of things of water that I go through and I clean the brush with water and I wipe it down and I go back through with new color. It is doable. It does take some time, but it's okay to have one brush and to use it for several different things. Now, having said that, Gavissi Beauty is running a very good sale for the end of the year, and her brushes are reasonably priced. You can pick up a bundle packet that's got several different primary colors, or if you're looking for metallic colors or pastels or split liners, you can get those. And I've not had any difficulty using these products, so I highly recommend them if you're going to be doing certain looks or if you would just like to up your glam game. It is a great product, great customer service, and easy, fast to use. The website and shipping is timely, and I just rant and rave about these water liners. I just think they're absolutely fantastic. They stay in place, and I've never had anything smudge or bleed. It is time to put in the false eyelashes. I put product on the back of my hand and I brush this on. This will help you control the amount of glue, and the less glue that you can put on there, the better it's going to be to stay and not move around before it dries. And I'm slowing this part of the tutorial down because I do know there are some people that are very intimidated about using false eyelashes, and if you want to practice and it not become expensive, take a look at the Shop Miss A website. They have a lot of makeup products for $1. I believe I got a 12 pack of these lashes for $4. So take a look and see if there's some things there that you would enjoy using. It's a good way to use a lot of products and experiment without spending a ton of money. Other than glue, they do make magnetic liners for false eyelashes, so that might be an option that you might want to check into if the glue is something that you just don't have a good time with using. But what I like to do with my eyelashes, some bands are really thick and heavy. I go through and I bend those for a few seconds, because once you do that, that's going to give a natural curve to the eyelash. So when you do apply glue and you put it onto the eye, you're not trying to press and maneuver the shape as you have it on. So you'll see here that I hold it in the middle and I go through and I place it into the middle, and then once that stays with the glue, you need to let it get a little bit tacky. I then go through and push the edge in the center down and make sure that it matches the other one. And sometimes you might actually have to trim lashes, and that's okay too. Just make sure that it fits your eye. I don't have a problem. I don't have to trim very often, but when you get those thick, bigger, bolder looks, they have to have a heavier band, and so it will be a little bit harder to use. So just bend it for a couple seconds, get a natural shape and a curve to it, and place it in with a little bit of glue that's tacky, and you can still maneuver it around. You'll see here that when I put it down, I make sure and I go through and I move it toward the center or left or right as I need to, and you can get by with doing this for a couple seconds before it dries, and it will not be messy. So I hope that helps. Please don't be intimidated. If you'd like to see more tutorials for glam makeup and things with more lashes, let me know in the comments below. I might be able to get one of those videos out. I love fun makeup just as much as I do special effects makeup, so if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Now, I do like to curl my natural eyelash and put just a small coat of mascara on it, put the eyelash down, and then I go through and I bump my lashes up into the other false lash, and you see here that I'm just tapping and blinking into the wand, and that's going to stop it from dragging up, but it does allow you to put color in on your natural lash, and it makes the look more cohesive. Now, when I am done with liquid eyeliners, doing winged eyeliner, doing designs, and placing in false eyelashes, I like to go through with the makeup that I'm using and just clean that up, because I do have to anchor a finger onto the face in order to keep a steady hand. So here you just see me going through and making sure that the places that I touch my face get another small coat of this cream makeup. With an eyeliner, I go through into the waterline and I get that put in, and that's going to make this winged eye look very big. It really accentuates the eyes. And in order for those lights to look like Christmas lights, I'm using a reflective coloring up underneath. I go through with the red because that's the bulb that's first, and then I go through and I take yellow, and then I blend in some green, and the last color I blend in is blue, and it's just a nice effect, making it look like your eyes are glowing. And I like to go back through and smudge that black eyeliner just a little bit into the waterline, because it makes the design less stark and it smooths everything out. And today I contoured my nose a little bit different, a little bit more of a button nose. As you see, I go through and I make it round. I place the shadow at the bottom of the nose, and then using some blush, I wanted it to be rosy, fun, and Christmassy, and so I'm applying that to the apple portion only because I will be placing the ornaments in later. And I carry that color up into a little bit of the bridge of the nose, just a fun, it's cool outside look. Now for my highlight, I go through with a Soul Body. It's a sister company from Colourpop, and this is a body shimmer, and I love, love, love the way this stuff smells. It is so fantastic. It comes from the collection from Hocus Pocus 2. It is called Find the Book, and it just gives that nice green little shimmer, which I thought would be good because this is a Christmas tree that has attacked me and decorated me. These are plastic Christmas ornaments that I used from the look last year. They were already cut, and I used an X-Acto knife to get these split in half. There is a seam on these, and I try to follow it the best that I can. Now today I'll be using a silicone mixture, 3 parts. Part A and B and C is a 1-to-1 ratio for the mixture, and I'm using a thickener so it looks more like skin. Now taking 2 different cups, and how I'm measuring today, and it's not scientific at all, I am going through and I'm counting the seconds of how many times I squeezed this formula into a cup. So part A, and then the same amount, counting how many times for 2 squeezes of part B. I will then take B and mix that into A and get that mixed up, and I applied about 12 drops of thickener. Now, depending on how much thickener you put into your formula is going to dictate about how much time you have to work with this product. Here I have about 4 minutes, and I go through with a spatula and I make sure that I get some of that silicone onto the skin as well as up on the side of the ornament itself, making sure that I fill in the gaps. Now, I'm not going to speed and cut this footage too much because I think some of this stuff is critical for you to see, even though I'm going a little bit fast. But once I get it to where the silicone is keeping the ornament in place, I dip my finger into my oil and I smooth that out onto the skin away from the ornament, and that's going to give that seamless transition from skin to silicone. And I go ahead and I do the same thing with the other ornament, and I'm watching this mixture and I'm making sure that it's still working for me, and I make sure that I get this onto the ornament itself a little bit more than the previous look, because I really want this to look like it stretched the skin, and so therefore it won't be looking like someone placed an ornament into my face. I really wanted it to look like it was coming from within. Continuing to use the silicone and a spatula, I place areas around the face to mimic scratches, and my idea behind these scratches is if you've ever been scratched by a cat or a piece of wood, or you've been scratched outside, something that happens immediately, there is a bit of swelling around this. It's a bit different for being sliced from like a knife or having a puncture wound, so I wanted that skin to look a little bit puffy, and so there's my backstory, there's my idea and concept behind this look. Using powder to set this silicone, it will stop it from looking shiny. It will also absorb the excess oil that you used to press the silicone into your skin. Going back through with my Cannom Warm Beige palette, I place those cream paints along the areas that I built up onto the ornament because I want it to look like skin and match my skin tone. And also I leave it a little bit translucent as a stretched skin so you can see the design of the ornament. I just thought that was a little bit more creepy looking, but I do enjoy this palette. I am so glad I picked this up, and it stops me from using my foundations, and foundations are expensive, and this went a long way. I really did enjoy it. Anything that I put over on top of this cream paint, it just glided right over. It's like working with a smooth canvas, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So if it's something you're interested in, this is a good one. He does have a wide range of colors, so everyone can find something that they need for this. I just really did enjoy this, and I hope if you have a chance, pick it up, and if you do, let me know. I go through with a smaller brush for detailed work so I don't mess up the ornament itself and get it everywhere. So back and forth between a small brush and a bigger brush. Use tools that you need as you go. And another thing I could tell you about this Warm Beige palette is that it did not flake, it did not crease, it stayed exactly where I put it, and a little bit went a long way, so I can't recommend it enough. Once that is done, I'm setting that color again, and I'm going over the face to lock that in. With a pair of scissors, I'm creating those scratches into that silicone. I hold the silicone down with my finger and I pull my skin taut so that the scissors glide through the silicone, and I'd be sure not to create a wound on your face. Just take your time when you're doing this step. And as you can see off camera, I put on my sweater. I teased my hair because I tussled with this Christmas tree. We got into a huge fight, and I placed some bows, and I got all this, the hat and the bows and the necklace with bells. I got that at the Dollar Tree. And what you see me doing here is with my alcohol paints, I go through and I create a dark color into that slash of the silicone. And the reason why I do this is because I could put gel blood and just go and start filming, but what happens, gel blood does dry and it becomes less glossy, and so if I get caught up in filming, I go through and I want that to look dark and irritated because it's sunken in. Using my alcohol paints again, I go through with a mixture between purple and blue, and I create irritation around these slices a little bit around the skin of the ornaments, and a little bit of bruising because I did get into a fight, and this time, guys, the Christmas tree won. So tell me if you know what the song is. What song was going through my head with those bells jingling everywhere? The other side of the concept for this makeup is once I was scratched with the tree and it been a little bit, the wounds were getting a little puffy, a little infected, and so that started the virus into the system, which grew the ornaments out into the skin. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's time to paint those lips red. Now I'm using a liquid lipstick that you've seen me use before. This is called Melonade from Colourpop. It dries matte and it's very comfortable to wear. And this is what I call a blue-based true red. It has a blue into it, so it won't give that orange tint to it. So if you're looking for something like that, look at the ingredients on the back and you'll see the colorings, and if it has more blue than it does any other color, you do know that you will get a true red out of that. So it is time, everyone's favorite part, the blood. And because these ornaments were going through the skin and have already protruded out, I made sure not to cover up the skin that was being used to showcase this is what's happening to the skin. And so that's why there's more gel blood that's dripping from the ornaments. And since this is usually everyone's favorite part, I'm going to hush and just let it play. As you can see with the lacerations on the face, I go through and I pull that silicone back so I get that color into the center and I don't cover up the skin. To keep this soft and glamorous, glam and gore, you'll see that I clean my brush by placing it onto a piece of tissue paper, and I use that for stippling so it's not harsh and not really dark, and I use it for irritation around the skin, the ornaments, and onto the neck. Here is the final look. I hope you guys have a great holiday and a Merry Christmas. I hope more so than anything that you're safe and you're well and that you're healthy. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you'd like to find me on other social medias, Instagram and Twitter, those links are below. Have a safe and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.